Good morning, Cardano Army. It's your boy Boomin coming at you with yet another video, guys. Go ahead and do all the things that the algorithm likes for me. Go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you never miss a Vechain or Cardano update. Alright, guys, let's get right into the show. So, taking a look at the price here, nothing really too crazy to talk about here. We're at 81 cents, 82 if you round up. It's been at this price for a while now. So we're not going to talk about price today, but we are going to get into a little bit of drama. So yesterday I talked about the FUD that was dispelled and how, the Cardano Foundation did not come to the aid of Charles when he was being accused of stealing like $600 million during the voucher period of the Cardano ecosystem. Well, I wanted to play what Charles had to say, but before we do that, he was complaining how they didn't come to his defense, but the Cardano Foundation did post this. We welcome the publication of the investigative report on the ADA voucher program released yesterday by IOHK. We're happy that it confirms the redemption process was conducted correctly and diligently. We further appreciate the clarity provided on the use of the remaining unredeemed ADA for the funding of Intersect MBO, and then in turn contracting with input-output infrastructure, EMURGO IO, and other Intersect contractors. We hope this outcome provides peace of mind for the community and helps Cardano move forward. So, it's, a whole big thing. It's been a whole big thing. But Charles was not really too happy about this before the statement ran. So I'm going to play this through, and then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards.
No, and also, wouldn't this make the most sense for the CF to fund? Because they have a mandate to protect the interest of the ecosystem as a whole, and this allegation attacked the very integrity of the entire ecosystem, and they're an independent organization, so they're more credible to be investigated. Instead, we had to pay for it.
Right.
Guys, this is why I'm so angry. And then everybody just says, well, why can't we just all get along? Why can't we all just be friends? This is case in point evidence number 733 or whatever, why we can't be friends and we can't get along. It is an abdication, a recusal of responsibility, every opportunity, and there's so much pettiness and vitriol in that organization. They can't even tweet as of now, after a 128-page audit report came out, that we were exonerated, and they're glad that the matter is over. They can't even tweet that out. They can't bring themselves to do that without having a committee meeting and a board meeting and then deciding what's the most neutral, Swiss, pathetic, least committal way to say something. Are they going to explain the comments of their employee, Marcus, who went to Twitter and said we transferred 300 million ADA to Intersect when the audit report clearly showed that never happened? Will they apologize for their employees' statements who publicly said that? It's still on Twitter. You can still go to Marcus's feed. Where's my fucking apology for that? It's not there. It's not there. And they're going to go have their little summit in November and tell all you guys they need $6 million of your money because after the $600 million worth of ADA they've been given, that's not enough. They still need your money to go put on a summit that no one's going to attend except for the wealthy Swiss people who will drive their cars up from Switzerland to Berlin and have a lovely weekend and talk about how great Cardano is while they pretend they didn't have a founder, and they attack everything we do and try to derail everything we do. Guys, that's the real story here of just how bad things are with them and how bad this situation exposed it. This was one of those things that was shocking to me. As bad as it got, never in my mind could I imagine that they wouldn't stick with us on this one because they knew all the details. They were there every step of the way. We worked with them every step of the way. They were getting briefings. They were in our Slack. I talked to Fred every 2 weeks. I'd tell him about it. I have minutes from the meetings. We even asked for their help occasionally on things in Japan and other places. They said we were doing it right. An exact quote from Fred. We're doing it right during a one-on-one meeting with him, and when they said we're just not going to do anything and we're going to leave you guys to your own devices and just figure it all out, and we had to go and do this whole thing with these auditors. Fred Gegard came from PwC. He was an auditor himself. He comes from that world. He has that experience set. It would have been invaluable having these types of relationships and connections. And we absolutely could have worked with them. And the CF had a lot of documents and data we didn't have access to, which would have added even more support to the forensic investigation if they were willing to turn over those documents to what we were doing. But, we just had to deal with what we could deal with, and this is why I'm so angry, guys. It's just, and it just bothers me when people in the ecosystem say, well, it's just bad blood and we all need to just get along and move forward. You can't get along and move forward with people who do these things. And at some point, we as an ecosystem have to hold them accountable. An info action with a vote of no confidence, maybe a class action with the Swiss government to get them to vacate the board. At this point, I would love to see ESA liquidate the board and put the foundation in receivership, and maybe we can convince the Swiss government just simply donate the money back to the Cardano treasury or donate the money to Intersect or some other place so we as an ecosystem can do something with it. But this is the lowest point, I think, in my career in Cardano. Because it's one thing when a person says you're late on a software development schedule, or you misrepresented something, or we don't think you had the right product strategy, or you bungled a partnership, like you dropped the ball with Chainlink back in 2021. Fine, fair game. People can say that. It's another thing entirely when you know someone's innocent, and for politics and pettiness, you let people run around and at the expense of the Cardano ecosystem as a whole, allow a rumor, a lie that we stole $600 million, perpetuate for days, then weeks, then an entire month, and have more than 500 million impressions across the totality of the media. When you have the ability as an independent party to say, we know that that didn't happen. Cut it out, guys. Yeah, Charles and us have our differences. Instead, you go to Twitter and say it's self-inflicted, and you fan the fires and embolden people like Monad, embolden people like Fake Fred, thinking that the CF knows something to continue spreading the lies and pushing the lies through. That's why I'm so angry, guys. It's fucking Monad. Well, who is this guy? He lives in Portugal. He's a piece of scum. He has no connection to anybody in the sale. How would he know anything? Oh, ex-IOGers told me stuff. Ex-IOGers. Well, the auditors didn't find any ex-IOGers to come tell them stuff. Apparently, everybody who's an ex-IOGer just nowhere to be found. When there was an opportunity to speak to an organization and tell them something, provide them some whistleblower evidence, this was the time to do it. But somehow, some way, they just didn't show up. But for Monad, they do. He's a nobody who lies to people to gain credibility and credence. So we ignore him. The CF is an important organization. They have your money. They have a community mandate. They own the trademark of Cardano. They decide where the logo gets to be because of that. They're very different as an organization. And the governance of that organization was always supposed to be intended to be part of the community. The board was supposed to be from the community. That was the purpose of it. From day one, we formed some form of election after an interim board transitions. Instead, it's permanently outside of the remit of the community, and there's no consequences for whatever they do. And now it's gotten so absurd, they're totally comfortable with the guy who created the whole ecosystem being publicly accused and raked over the coals for 4 fucking months for stealing $600 million when they knew damn well we didn't. They're that comfortable. And even after we're exonerated, they're so pathetic and disgusting that they don't have the balls to fucking tweet, well, we're sorry, and yes, and we're excited about the audit report. Who will hold them accountable? Big K, when you interview Fred the next time, will you have the balls to look at him in the eyes and say, why did you do that? Or any of the other influencers, if any CF member comes on to these shows, will any of you have the courage to start holding these guys accountable
Oh, I
and
promise
saying,
you
why
we
do you
will,
work for an
Charles.
organization?
We will.
That's what I was going to ask,
Absolutely.
Charles. Like I wanted to ask you personally, like what us, like as a community, because I've been in spaces for the last couple of weeks, and a lot of the community are and taking on
Agents boycott their events if they have people show up for interviews at interviews to an organization that nobody will want to work for them badly. I'm just so fucking done with it. And, at this point, we have to hold these people again, and they'll start realizing that leaders can ask until they terminate the interview. Boycott their events. If they have people show up for interviews, at interviews, directly question and ask them why they behaved the way they did with the audit report and made no statement. And don't let them say no comment. Don't let them weasel out of it. Ask and ask and ask until they terminate the interview. And you know what? Eventually, it'll become such a toxic and irredeemably bad organization that nobody will want to work for them. Nobody will want to partner with them. Nobody shows up to their events. And they'll have mass attrition, and they'll start realizing that leadership changes are necessary. And yet file a vote of no confidence with an info action. So at least we have some documentation that this organization behaved badly. I'm just so fucking done with it. And at this point, we have to hold these people accountable because they're accountable to no one. They're only accountable to themselves, and they'll look at themselves in the mirror and say, are we special and amazing? Oh, yes, we're very special and amazing. They've done nothing but make my life difficult, and now it's gone from a petty feud to damaging the integrity of the blockchain as a whole. It is an abdication of leadership to allow a rumor to persist that a founding entity stole $600 million when you know it's not true. It damages the integrity of the ecosystem as a whole. They hurt us all, every single ADA holder. And frankly speaking, Fred Gegard should resign. And he should be replaced with somebody who has leadership ability. I call for that.
Charles,
You have your answer.
I can tell you, Charles, that we have sent out invitations to multiple members of.
Well, that was very fiery, and guys, I have my beef with the Cardano Foundation. I think we all do. I don't think that the Cardano Foundation has pushed hard enough for Cardano. There's a lot of stuff that we need to get done in the Cardano ecosystem that just has not been done. There's a lot of stuff that we've been late on, and we could just say like, Charles, do it, but we have the Cardano Foundation for a reason. They hold the trademark for the Cardano brand. Why aren't we on sports teams? Why don't we have these major partnerships that could put our name front and center? And the Cardano Foundation has been, dropping the ball on a lot of things. Honestly, sometimes I just wonder, like, what do they even do? What's the point of the Cardano Foundation at this point? So, those were some fiery words from Charles Hoskinson, and I would hope that new leadership would come in and either dissolve the Cardano Foundation or radically change it, because I don't think the Cardano Foundation is good for Cardano. You guys know that, and yeah, it comes from Charles's mouth too. The creator, if the creator of the token has an issue with somebody who's trying to help the token that he created, that's kind of crazy. That's insane. But I just wanted to play that, because number one, there's not a whole lot of news, and number two, I think he speaks for a lot of us that the Cardano Foundation has really been dropping the ball, and I'd like to see some new leadership. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Sorry about no news, really, but can't really control that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell, guys, so you never miss a Cardano update. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with the Vechain and Cardano updates. Have an amazing day. Goodbye.